Newsfirst, face to face with Mariam Gunvijaya.
A very good evening and welcome to yet another edition of the Face to Face, where we dive deeper into Sri Lanka's political arena. I'm Mariam Gunvijaya, and our guest this evening is the former president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, President's Council Upul Jayasuriya. A very good evening to you, Mr. Jayasuriya.
Good evening,
welcome to the show. All right, so according to the Constitution of Sri Lanka, 2024, that is the year we are in now, almost 2 months done, is the election year. And on one side, we hear people demanding for freedom of expression, ethical governance, and they want corruption to stop finally in the country. But still, we see so many laws being passed even over the past couple of weeks, legislations that screams volume of corruption. How do you think, Mr. Jayasuriya, Sri Lanka can improve efforts to manage corruption in the country?
That's the biggest challenge that this country is facing at this moment of time. Most of the countries in the region, started from India and even Nepal for that matter, I won't put Pakistan there, but so many other countries also in the Asian region are fighting corruption in the best possible way. But we are supposed to be fighting corruption. That's why we have a separate institution called Bribery and Corruption Commission, and then the law has been expanded. But we don't see very much happening as far as the Bribery Commission is concerned. Now, it was sad to note that sometimes some of the complaints are being made. The complainants come out of the commission, they have voice cards, and then mass media is reporting all that, and that's the end of it. I mean, this is not going to help this country at all. People are aware as to the level of corruption that our people, mostly the politicians, have indulged in. So, if we don't, now at the moment, there are so many politicians, there are ministers, sitting ministers, who have accounts overseas that are running into millions of dollars, and former presidents, former prime ministers, they are having millions of dollars in foreign account. I mean, in certain circles, these facts are known, not in all the circles, but the general public are not aware of these things. But we get this information probably only in Colombo, and then they are not disseminated, they are not being carried out to the other areas of the society. But people who matter, they know how much they have robbed this country. One instance, I know, a complaint was made with regard to Greek bonds. The bonds were bought by from Greece by the central bank, knowing very well at that time the Greece was going down under. At that time, it was known even by school children that the Greek bonds were of no value. EU has imposed a cut of 53%. At that stage, we went and bought these bonds from the secondary market. That shows where you can make the money. When you buy it from the secondary market, then you inflate the figure and then buy it at the primary issue price. So we bought bonds which were valued less by 53%. So this was decided by the then Governor Niwan Cabral, and nothing happened. Up to now, this complaint was made by Sirasa Singh in 2011. Up to now, this is being investigated by the Bribery Commission. What is the meaning of this? This is a mockery of justice. So if they can't do these things, they must get out and go. The former commissioner has now left. The new commissioner has come. Now they have to do it. Now there was also another complaint made more recently. That was with regard to the economic crash by the former president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, then Basil Rajapaksa, Mahinda Rajapaksa, W.D. Lakshman, former governor, Niwan Cabral, whole lot of them, SR article, and Bribery Commission wrote us a letter and then asked us to come and explain this. Some SI was there who had not even got, probably he would have barely got through his O-levels. I mean, he can't understand this kind of thing. If you are assigning a job like this to a SI, that shows the seriousness with which the Bribery Commission is attempting to go into this matter. They are not interested. I mean, this is shocking. This is shocking. These are the institutions. These institutions have quasi-judicial powers, right? If they are supposed to exercise these powers. Now, they came, when the complainants went there to the commission, they asked a few questions. He said, how is this? They didn't understand at all. They have not even read the petition that had been filed in the Supreme Court. By that time, the judgment was not out. But now the judgment is out, and the Supreme Court has held these people responsible for the economic collapse. It has said that in no uncertain terms. So, unless we are serious in tackling corruption at the highest possible level, now take, for instance, one minister is behind bars, still in remand. Now, there are so many other ministers also. Now, if the current president, if he wants to win this election, all that he has to do is to put these crooks behind bars. People will run behind him and they vote for him, if that be the case. So people are expecting this to happen, irrespective of any political affiliations or political opinions that one may be having. Black is black and white is white. What has to be tackled at the highest level, at the level of the law enforcement authorities, the court system. Courts are very resilient in this kind of situation. They have been very brave and they have been giving so many orders, whatever on matters that come into their purview. But they can't run behind these things and then be attending to these. So if you don't do that, when the courts are ready, if the public authorities are not ready, then I think we have failed.
Now, Mr. Jayasuriya, I think a concern that a lot of people have is, now, just like you said, the previous guy went and a new guy came in, but still nothing has changed. I feel like a lot of the people, members of public even, think that, even if this government changes, then another government comes in, they are all friends, they are all going to support each other, and that's what happened. We had the previous government, now we have the Ranil Wickremesinghe government, and I feel like we've been hearing from a lot of people that they believe that that is the case. So, just like you said, the previous guy went and the new guy came and there hasn't been change. What do you think should be done for us to fix this particular situation? That when there is a new system in place, that it will actually be effective?
We have seen a couple of cases on corruption that have been filed. Now these cases are taken up for trial, say today, and something happens, maybe the translation is not given, or the indictment, the documents that have been relied upon have not been given to the defense, or whatever the reason, it may go down. And the next, when it goes down, the next date is given maybe 7-8 months ahead. 7-8 months ahead. So there must be some corrective process to be adopted to put this situation right.
What do you suggest that is?
What we have done is, there is a lawyer group of called Samagi Lawyers Federation. We have proposed 117 proposals. We have very clearly said all bribery cases, there should be changes in law. These are proposed changes in law. All bribery cases should be, the investigation should be completed within 3 months. If they fail to complete the investigation within 3 months, they can make an application to the magistrate and then explain the circumstances and get a 1 more month extension. Likewise, they can get the maximum another 3 months. And the indictment has to be filed within a matter of 1 year. So these should be brought in by law. And then, as far as the value is concerned, if the value of corruption is more than 5 million rupees, we have put it at that level, because today 5 million for these people who are indulging in corruption is nothing. The trial should be taken up day to day. Day to day, no dates will be granted, even for the lawyers, whatever they are. If they are unable to attend, maybe having a stomachache or whatever the reason, because some people, being a lawyer, I know what happens there. So that you get the opportunity, give the opportunity even to the younger lawyers to come and argue these cases. Why only one lawyer appearing in 15 cases in one day in so many courts, and then he will not be able to attend to any single case. So you must spread it out. There are more than 1,500 lawyers joining the bar for a year. So there are enough lawyers. So then such cases should be taken up before a trial at bar, if its value is more than 5 million rupees. Then day-to-day trial. So this is how the current law cannot handle this. Current law, there are no such legal provisions. So we have to bring in these provisions to make way so that the culprits will be brought before law without allowing them to get out. Now, there was also another instance where I don't mind mentioning the name. We'll call Kapila somebody. I think the Airbus, they made the complaint, the company made the complaint that they had given a bribe of $2 million. The company made the complaint, is a French company, airline, the manufacturers of the aircraft. They made the complaint saying that we were asked to pay a bribe of so much and we had to pay this bribe of so much. It came up in some other inquiry there. On the basis of this matter was supposed to have been referred to the Bribery Commission by the then President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Supposed to have been.
But it wasn't.
I don't know. It may have been or may not have been. But up to this day, that fellow is roaming around freely. Now it's more than 5 years. It's more than 5 years. What is the system? I mean, people are. I mean, those who are watching this situation is not only the Sri Lankans. We may be used to this kind of skullduggery, but foreigners are not. There are embassies. Foreign missions are also watching these things. When they watch these things, when they are appalled by this kind of conduct by the public authorities, then they will report it to their respective countries. Then from there, the information is disseminated to the respective commercial institutions. The possible investors are warned of these things. If an investor is coming to a country, the first thing that they want is it should be a country free of corruption. And the rule of law should apply and it should be enforceable. The courts are very much resilient, as I said earlier. But sometimes the court orders are not adhered to. Court gives order. Sometimes not only the original court, then the appeal court, then the Supreme Court. They give orders, but they are not acted upon. There are so many cases. Sometimes in one instance, I know, 175 million was to be paid, but finally it has now gone up to 2.6 billion. But who is responsible? That is why we are also proposing in this set of proposals, if any person, public official or a politician, irrespective of the rank, if a person is faulted by the Supreme Court for having violated fundamental rights, he shall cease to hold office. He shall cease to hold office. So we have to bring in these new reforms.
But Mr. Jayasuriya, what guarantees you that these proposals will actually become legislation?
Well, these are proposals that should be adopted by any party in the opposition. So far, the Samagi Jana Balavegya, the leader, Mr. Sajith Premadasa, came to a function and then we presented these proposals, and he has accepted these proposals wholeheartedly, and also he has vouched that these proposals will be part of his election manifesto. So we are happy about it. So why only Samagi Jana Balavegya?
But is there a timeline?
6 months. 6 months. Within 6 months, these are not rocket science. These are very simple amendments that can be brought in. There are no constitutional changes. I mean, nothing is going to hold them if they want to bring in these legal provisions in order to fast track the system of justice. So everyone will be supportive of them. So any other aspirant, political party, it's open for them to adopt these things. But there is no color for these proposals. Anyone and everyone can adopt these proposals. So people also should be aware.
But are they willing to?
I don't know about that. So at least there is one party, as far as I am concerned, in the political arena, they have accepted that. They have said that we are going to accept it. And
have you all proposed this to other parties as well?
We are going to.
Okay.
We are going to.
How does that work?
We will present it to all the other parties and then ask them to put it in the election manifesto.
And you think that they will agree?
Hopefully.
Right. Okay. You also mentioned about how the international community has been looking at whatever that has been happening in the country. Now, just to recall the recent legislation, I think the Anti-Terrorism Bill, the Online Safety Act, we've seen even tech companies to the international community diplomats expressing concern about the laws and legislation that we've been bringing in, and even when it comes to certain events like demonstrations and police firing tear gas, water cannons, and situations like that have gained quite the concern from the international community recently. What is your stance on that? How has human rights being affected? What can we do to stop that?
These repressive laws and the implementation of those laws in the manner that they have now taken course is not going to help this country at all. It's not going to help even the reputation of this country. When people are looking at, okay, we went through a hard time when there was no fuel, no gas, people on the road, they dropped dead in the hot sun, and all that was happening. Now we have got out of that to some extent. People are, to some extent. But in the meantime, there are a large number of people who have lost their livelihood. Construction industry, more than 1 million people are out of employment. So in such situation, there should be some way for them to express their opinion, or the expression of such opinion is guaranteed by the Constitution. If it is restrained by unauthorized or by ways that are the laws that are being brought in, I mean, these laws are not going to be taken upon kindly by the international community. That is why there have been so many messages that have come up. Even locally, the Human Rights Commission, the local Human Rights Commission has written very seriously to reconsider such laws that have been already presented. So as far as the country is concerned, now take a situation where this so-called operation that goes on called Yuktiya.
Yeah.
Nobody is against catching the drug addicts or the people who are dealing with drugs. But you mean to say that there are now more than maybe 50,000 or 100,000 people have been arrested. When they have been arrested by the new authorities who are now taken over, now the same people were also there. Now Mr. Thenokon was also the DIG in charge of the Western Province. So what was he doing? Couldn't he have done what he is trying to do now at that time? Now the police are complaining, saying that, sir, we are only asked to give the figures. How many people have been arrested? Enough and more situations, they have planted drugs on these people.
So what's the intention behind this?
I would think that the intention is just to show marks, to obtain some marks, because his acting appointment is coming to an end by the end of this month.
But Mr. Jayasuriya, do you think the people are buying his marks that he's showing us?
Well, some people who are gullible, probably they have accepted this. The Mahanayaka, the Theros have written to the authorities and said, don't do this. Now there was the incident in I think Valigaman. They said that they raided a hotel and all that in the night, and then they were shot at. There was an exchange of fire, and all of a sudden the police have run away. I had never heard police running away from a situation. If they were shot at by a police party or another underworld crowd, they will immediately call for reinforcements. If they are going there for some operation, obviously they have their radios, so they can inform the nearest police station. Then the nearest police station will inform the police party who is now shooting at them. Why didn't this happen? So they ran away, and then they were stopped at a entrance to the expressway, and then one fellow was bleeding, and then he was rushed to the hospital, and that poor fellow died. So people are not going to buy the kind of story that has now been propagated. The second one was the incident in Dehiwala. The hotel was run over by some coastal authority with the full protection and the support by the police. When that happened, they said that this is in violation of the coastal laws. What about, there are so many hotels in the coast, in Mount Lanier. I'm also from Mount Lanier. I know more than 100 hotels are there on the sea beach in Mount Lanier. Did this law apply only to this hotel? I mean, this is absurd. That poor fellow has also invested so much of money in the hotel. When people see this kind of investment going down in minutes without giving them opportunity to take it up before the legal authorities and then seek some redress, when there is no such opening for them, people will be scared to come and make investment in this country. It's a wrong message that will go down. Then I think Valigama incident, the police officer was given 4.7 million or 4.3 million was given as compensation the very next day. Dehiwala incident, he was given some 2 million. The police officer was given, not that one. I think another incident, Sanat Nishantas.
Sanat Nishantas, the police officer.
That police officer was given, I think, 2.5 million. Then there was another police officer who died in, I think, Narammala. Right? A civilian who died in Narammala. Now, both these are police officers. Now, that civilian was given 1 million. Now, how do you compare this? If a police officer died, 4.5 million, but there is a discrimination. One police officer given 4.5 million, the other police officer given 2.5 million or 2 million. And the civilian given 1 million. Where is this? Who is deciding these things?
So what do you think are the economic and political consequences of the international community viewing a country like this?
This is the problem.
Yeah.
This is the problem. Now, these are the basic problems that we have to put right. In addition to that, I see with my exposure at the BOI and all that, when I was there, I found that for a month, there were about at least 15 enterprises. The agreement that was signed and sealed with the enterprise and the BOI were terminated by the BOI. Why? Because they couldn't be implemented or they have not implemented. So we must do a study. If you go into all these the enterprises or the agreements that were terminated, their excuse is that they were unable to take action to proceed with the investment. Why? You go from pillar to you are pushed from pillar to post, and then everywhere you go, public officials asking bribes. So, in one instance, I was, as a chairman of the BOI, I had a press conference. I said, look, that was that Kantale Sugar project. This land ministry secretary, I was the chairman of the BOI. I had a press conference and said, this land ministry secretary is asking for a bribe. That is why this project is not taking off. So anyway, he didn't allow anything to go through at that time.
But were you able to stop it?
The project also stopped at that time. Yeah. Then after some time, I relinquished office, and then he started again. The same secretary started this process again with the investor. I knew about it. I advised the investor, don't pay him a cent. Finally, he went to the Bribery Commission, and then at that time, of course, the Bribery Commission department, they did a marvelous job. There must be a compliment to those officers who got involved in that. And they laid a trap and then arrested them. And then there was trial at Bar Hill, and they were sentenced to jail. Right? That is a public officer. The complaint was made against the secretary to the ministry. There are a few other secretaries now getting involved in the health ministry, including the minister. So, if you don't take action at the highest level, there is no point in talking about the lower level. So, as far as the investments are concerned, now as far as the BOI is concerned, the most powerful instrument tool that we have in the law is Schedule B of the law. Schedule B says there are certain laws like the customs law, then the Inland Revenue law, exchange control law. They are the executive authority that is vested in those institutions are vested with the BOI, not those institutions. So, exchange control department is functus as far as exchange control matters are concerned. BOI has to do it. Now they have brought in 2 new laws and they also have to include it. That's a small change that they have to do, which is yet to be done. But in addition to that, what we have proposed in this set of reforms is that you must expand this Schedule B to include the CEB, the local authorities, then the GSMB, Geological Mines and Service Bureau, then the Mahavali Ministry, where the lands are being given out, then the UDA, like that. There's so many, and then within 2 weeks, they should be, those institutions should be given 2 weeks to decide whether the approval that is being sought to be granted or not. If they fail to give that approval, then the owners of granting such approval should shift to the BOI, Board of Directors. They should give that approval, not anyone else. And that should be done within another maximum 2 weeks.
And this can be done transparently?
And as far as the approval process is concerned, it should be all online. There should be no human contact. So that then the expedition and then this elimination of corrupt practices can take place to a great extent. I am not still eliminating it 100%.
Completely, but okay.
But it can be tackled
So
to a great
working
extent.
online would...
Working online so that you don't see the, there is no face to the applicant or the investor. So these are some of the proposals. So likewise, we can fast track, and also if they don't give the BOI, doesn't give the approval within 1 month, then the approval is deemed to have been granted.
Right.
So this is, if he has an infrastructure project that any investor who has to come to this country and then put up flats or hotels or whatever, you don't believe that there are 24 approvals that have to be taken. Each place where you go to, they ask for bribes.
Right. So that was our conversation with the former president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, President's Council, Upul Jayasuriya. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, Mr. Jayasuriya. And that's a wrap of Face to Face for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.
Thank you.